Listen up, shade gardeners. Every gardening book, every extension service, every know-it-all neighbor has drilled this into your head. Fruit needs blazing sun, or forget it. 6 to 8 hours minimum, they say. Full exposure or you're wasting your time. That's complete garbage advice from people who've never grown pawpaw in Michigan woods or watched gooseberries explode under maple canopies. I've spent 40 years proving shade doesn't mean no fruit. It means different fruit, better fruit. Fruit that laughs at heat stress, while your sunny neighbors watch their crops wilt in July. Today I'm giving you 7 shade champions that'll turn your dim corners into productive gold mines. We're talking pawpaw, America's forgotten banana that's prized at farmers' markets because stores can't ship them. Alpine strawberries that fruit all season while June bearers quit after 1 month. And a tropical cherry that thrives in filtered light that would make citrus growers weep. These aren't compromises, huh? They're upgrades. Plants that evolved under forest canopies, grabbing dappled light and still fruiting like champions. Let's dig in and shatter some myths. Number 1. Pawpaw. This isn't just America's largest native fruit. It's the tropical banana that grows in your backyard and laughs at winter. Here's what blows people's minds about pawpaw. Lewis and Clark survived on pawpaw pulp during their expedition because it doesn't bruise like bananas and tastes like mango banana pineapple had a baby. One mature tree can produce substantial yields annually, prized at farmers' markets because stores can't ship them. They're too good, too soft, too real for commercial handling. This is backyard gold that powered indigenous peoples for millennia. George Washington reportedly loved them. Thomas Jefferson grew them at Monticello. And right now, while 99% of Americans have never tasted one fresh, you could have a pawpaw grove quietly producing the rarest fruit on the continent in the shadiest corner of your yard. Picture this transformation. Your neglected north side becomes a prehistoric jungle. These 15 to 30-foot trees erupt with massive, glossy leaves up to 12 inches long, rustling like velvet sails in the breeze. Come fall, they blaze crimson and gold, dropping a carpet of leathery foliage that smells faintly of citrus decay. Fruits dangle in clusters like fat, green torpedoes, 5 to 6 inches long, custardy inside with black seeds like polished river stones. The air hums with pollinators. It's sensory overload, turning a drab shade patch into a wild, humid hideaway that feels worlds away from suburbia. No leggy growth here. In shade, pawpaws stay lush and productive, unlike sun-stressed trees that turn brittle. Now here's the growing secret that separates thriving orchards from dead sticks. Most folks kill pawpaws by ignoring their fungal partnership. Don't plant in straight garden soil. Here's the insider hack from decades of trial and error, echoed by Kentucky State. University's Pawpaw program. Dig a pit twice as wide as the root ball and amend with organic matter like compost mixed with leaf mold. This creates the rich, well-draining soil pawpaws crave in their preferred pH range of 5.5 to 7.0, while feeding mycorrhizal fungi that pawpaws depend on for shade survival. Water with rainwater when possible. Tap water's chlorine can harm beneficial fungi. Plant 2 cross-pollinators like sunflower and mango 20 feet apart. Hand-pollinate with a brush on breezeless mornings for better yields. Prune suckers into a central leader in year 3, but never in summer. Sap bleeds heavily. In Zone 6 shade, I've improved fruit set this way while neighbors' trees stayed barren. The culinary payoff crushes anything you'll find in stores. Commercial pawpaws don't exist because they ripen off-tree into mush. Yours stay firm for weeks, scooped fresh into pudding that tastes like crème brûlée met piña colada. Blend into smoothies that make kale taste. Gourmet or ferment into pawpaw beer. Pawpaws contain more protein than apples. Whip into ice cream, adding arrowroot to stabilize. Bake into nutty bread, or pickle green ones like okra. One tree feeds a family of 4 all fall. I've traded pies for favors all winter. Zones 5 through 8, partial shade to full shade with 4 hours dappled light maximum. Moist, well-draining soil with pH 5.5 to 7.0. Shenandoah variety for Midwest zones 5 through 7. Allegheny for Southeast 7 through 8. Both compact at 15 feet. But if Pawpaw is America's forgotten treasure, our next shade champion powered Viking voyages across the North Sea. Number 2, gooseberry. These are the thorny fortresses that turn your shade patch into a jewel-studded barrier while producing substantial yields per bush. Gooseberries powered Viking ships because they store for months without spoiling. English colonists called them poor man's grapes, but smart gardeners know these bushes yield valuable fruit annually. They're mildew-resistant workhorses bred for northern climates where sun scorches and shade protects. These 4 to 6 foot shrubs explode your shade spot into a thorny emerald fortress. Arching canes drip with lobed leaves like green filigree, shimmering dew-kissed in filtered light. Berries swell in jewel clusters, translucent green pixwell blushing pink, ruby reds dangling like earrings, each the size of a grape. Pick them, and juice sprays. The air fills with tart perfume. Fall turns leaves purple, canes bare and sculptural, like a living espalier framing your patio. It's prickly poetry. Beautiful barrier that whispers stay out while feeding you. Everyone waters gooseberries wrong, drowns them shallow or starves deep roots. My hard-won trick, straight from decades of failures. Install a 12-inch deep gravel trench 18 inches from the base, filled with pine bark nuggets. This creates a moisture wick that pulls water down to fibrous roots, preventing rot in humid shade. Mulch tops with 4 inches arborist chips, not wood. Too hot. Foliar feed with fish emulsion diluted 1 to 50 every rainless week. For mildew proofing, spray weekly with baking soda solution. 1 tablespoon per gallon plus a dash of horticultural oil. Cuts incidence significantly per South Dakota state trials. Plant on north slopes for frost drainage. Thin canes to 6 per bush in dormant season, cutting oldest to ground. Hinenmaki red or Pixwell for zones 3 through 8. I've fruited well in Vermont shade where sun varieties scorch. Shade-grown gooseberries produce sweeter, less acidic fruit than sun-stressed plants because lower light slows acid production while concentrating sugars. Supermarket gooseberries? Non-existent or imported mush. Yours burst juicier. Hairless American types like Poorman out-tart European giants. Cook into fool by whipping with cream. Divine. Pie with rhubarb for unbeatable tang, or dry into chewy leather sweeter than raisins. High pectin means jam sets without added sugar. 1 bush jams a year's supply. Medicinally, antioxidants rival blueberries. Studies show anti-inflammatory compounds for health benefits. Speaking of concentrated sweetness, our next shade lover delivers gourmet flavor in packages so small most people walk right past them. Number 3. Alpine strawberry. These are the wild originals that Shakespeare praised. Tiny, cone-shaped rubies that perfume your shade garden with pineapple candy. These aren't your grocery giants. They're the woodland treasure's French chef's prize, because they concentrate intense aroma compounds compared to commercial berries. They fruit continuously from April to frost, while June bearers quit after 1 month. 1 patch yields good harvests perpetually, and I've propagated hundreds from runners for a profitable side hustle. Imagine a woodland fairy carpet unfurling in your shade bed. Low 6 to 12-inch mounds send glossy tri-leaves cascading like emerald waterfalls, studded with tiny white blooms like snowflakes. Fruits pop up continuously. Tiny, cone-shaped rubies, hourglass-waisted, perfuming the air with pineapple candy. No hulking runners, just tidy, fragrant abundance that draws bees and butterflies. In fall, leaves tint bronze, berries glow against moss. It's intimate, magical, like harvesting from a secret forest floor. Standard advice says moist soil, but that's why yours yellow and quit. The pro move from decades of UK master gardeners and Rodale Institute. Layer 2 inches of cocoa hull mulch over compost-amended soil. It retains more moisture than straw while repelling slugs with natural theobromine. Pinch every third flower in year 1 to force runner production. Multiple babies per plant. Then pot them in 4-inch cells for sales. Divide crowns every spring at the first new leaf whirl. Renews vigor for endless fruiting. Avoid overhead water. Use drip rings to mimic rain shadows. Barren Solomasher or Pineapple Crush for U.S. zones. In New York shade, I've harvested April to frost. These are ever-bearing shade queens that need no hulling. Eat them whole, unwashed, straight from the plant. They're cleaner and more flavorful than anything you'll find in stores. Store strawberries are flavorless water bombs. Alpines concentrate essence into explosive bursts. More intense aroma compounds, per UC Davis. Eat fresh by the handful, no washing needed. Tiny and clean. Infuse into vinegar for salads that wow, or candy whole for garnishes chewier than store-dried. Blend into sorbet silkier than gelato, or layer in yogurt parfaits with honey. Kids devour them. High in ellagic acid for health benefits, per NIH studies. Perpetual harvest means fresh forever, not June overload. But if you want shade berries with serious wild credentials, nothing beats the next native that feeds bears and builds billion-dollar industries. Number 4. Lowbush blueberry. These are the wild Maine gold that survives -40 winters and laughs at shade while their high-bush cousins demand full sun. These fuel a substantial industry with good picker earnings during harvest. Native to New England barrens, they're tougher than cultivated varieties, evolved under forest canopies where they grab filtered light and still fruit like champions. Michigan State calls them perfect understory fruit that yields where tall varieties scorch. Your shade plot becomes a rugged heath. Knee-high mats of tiny, leathery leaves form a blueberry meadow, buzzing with native bees. Spring bells tinge pink. Summer brings sky-blue orbs in hidden clusters, frosted like jewels. Leaves ignite scarlet in fall. The earthy tang lingers. It's low-slung luxury, walkable, wildlife-friendly, transforming mud into a crisp, aromatic expanse that feels like stepping into wild Maine barrens. pH obsession kills most starts. My fix, from University of Maine Extension Trials, brew blueberry tea, steep 5 gallons oak leaves in water 2 weeks, pour over roots monthly. Drops pH naturally to around 4.5 without chemicals. Plant in 60% peat, 40% sand mix. Top with 6-inch pine needle mulch, renewed yearly to acidify. Mow annually post-harvest like commercial fields. Stimulates more shoots and mimics natural fire cycles they evolved with. Cross with top hat for hybrids. Thin every 3rd year. Northland or wild clones for zones 3 through 7. I've improved my shady patch output where sun varieties fry. Grocery blues are picked green. Lowbush explode with wild tang. Higher antioxidants than high-bush varieties, per USDA data. Smaller size means more skin per bite flavonoids for heart health. Bake into muffins fluffier than bran, sauce for meats with venison-level depth, or freeze-dry into powder for smoothies packing year-round punch. Commercial fields mow these annually post-harvest like grass. Higher antioxidants than high-bush varieties. They're survivors that laugh at conditions that kill pampered cousins. Now let's jump from northern natives to a tropical powerhouse that brings Caribbean vibes to your shady corner. Number 5. Acerola cherry. This is the vitamin C bomb that thrives in filtered tropical light. This Barbados native turns your zone 9 through 11 shade into a Caribbean oasis, producing tart cherry orbs year-round that Hawaiian farms profit well from. It's a tropical cash crop that evolved under rainforest canopies, grabbing dappled light while pumping out high vitamin C content. Shady Nook turns Caribbean. 6-foot bush bursts with bronze new growth, pink pom-pom flowers year-round. Tart cherry orbs glow red-orange, juicy pops amid glossy leaves rustling tropically. The air fills with floral perfume that draws hummingbirds from blocks away. Heat fries them in full sun. Shade improves performance compared to full sun plantings. Heat stress kills more acerola than cold ever will. Mulch with crushed coral to raise drainage while buffering pH naturally between 5.5 and 6.5. Prune to vase shape post-fruit. Graft Florida sweet variety for better flavor. In containers, can overwinter indoors in cooler zones. Water consistently but never waterlogged. They hate wet feet worse than drought. Fresh juice beats any store-bought vitamin drink. Fresher, immune-boosting. Juice, puree for sauces beating anything in bottles. Florida trials confirm Shade improves performance. One bush produces year-round in tropical zones where oranges struggle. But if you want a shade vine that climbs into serious production, our next pick delivers grape-sized kiwis without the fuzz. Number 6. Hardy kiwi. This is the smooth-skinned climbing machine that turns your shade arbor into a productive fruit factory. These Japanese mountain natives laugh at -25 winters while producing grape-sized berries sweeter than fuzzy store kiwis. One mature vine yields substantial pounds annually, turning expensive store fruit into pocket change. They evolved climbing into forest canopies, so shade mimics their wild habitat perfectly. Imagine a vigorous twining vine exploding up to 30 feet or more, draping arbors or fences with glossy dark green leaves on striking red petioles that rustle in the breeze, creating a lush, living privacy screen denser than any store-bought lattice. In shady spots, it softens harsh edges. Cream-colored, fragrant blossoms burst open in June like hidden fireworks, followed by clusters of emerald green fruits dangling like jewels that ripen to deep olive, bursting with juice at the slightest touch. The sensory payoff is intoxicating. That fuller, tropical flavor wafts through your yard, drawing pollinators while the vine's subtle rustling and faint sweet aroma from ripening fruit turn a dim corner into a verdant hideaway. Most folks plant hardy kiwi and watch it fizzle because they ignore magnesium hunger. Here's the insider fix. Every spring, hit your vines with magnesium sulfate per recommended rates, dissolved in water and drenched around the roots before bud break. This helps turbocharge fruit set in shady conditions where soil nutrients leach faster, preventing yellow leaves and puny harvests. Pair it with wind protection. Stake a burlap screen on the north side during establishment. These early leafing vines hate transpiration, stress from gusts, which suck moisture before roots catch up. Plant male and female vines 15 feet apart on sturdy T-trellises. One male pollinates multiple females. Here's the shade hack. Position the male in the brightest pocket of your shady area to maximize pollen drift. Prune ruthlessly in late winter, hacking each stem back to 8 to 10 buds. Illinois Extension swears this forces fruit on new growth, improving production over lazy growers who skip it. Avoid heavy clay by mounding raised beds 18 inches high with 50% compost-amended loam. Sandy soils get 3-inch mulch of rotted leaves to lock in moisture. In zones 3 through 8, it laughs at -25-degree cold snaps, but mulch crowns thickly post-planting to dodge late frosts that nip early buds. Pop these smooth mini kiwis straight off the vine, like candy grapes. No peeling required, delivering a flavor explosion that's sweeter, less acidic, with hints of strawberry and banana that fuzzy kiwis can't touch. Slice into salads for juicy tang that elevates greens, or whirl into smoothies where one handful outshines imported fruit. Ferment into wine or vinegar for tangy dressings that taste alive, not pasteurized dead. Dry them for chewy snacks that store for months without losing punch. Health-wise, they're antioxidant powerhouses, fighting inflammation, and since you're harvesting peak ripe, they digest easier without the bloat from shipped hard fruit. Isai variety is self-fertile, perfect for small yards, zones 4 through 9. Ananasnaya has pineapple notes, reliable across U.S. zones, water deeply weakly during fruit swell, but let soil dry an inch down between. Overwatering rots crowns faster than anything. Our final shade champion brings us full circle to another North American native that most gardeners walk past without knowing they're missing liquid gold. Number 7. Juneberry. This powered indigenous peoples across North America for millennia. The blueberry mimic that yields substantial pounds per bush without the fuss. Also called Saskatoon, these were so vital they traded like currency in tribal economies, dried into pemmican for winter survival. Modern twist. They're prized at markets because they're blueberry mimics with almond undertones, pulling double duty as wildlife magnets and erosion fighters on shady slopes. Picture a multi-stemmed shrub surging 6 to 15 feet tall and wide, erupting in April with clouds of star-shaped white flowers that perfume the air like almond blossoms, drawing bees from blocks away. Come June, it transforms your shady nook into a bird buffet with drooping clusters of plump, navy-purple berries that glow against emerging reddish new leaves. The whole bush becomes a rustling symphony of wildlife activity amid clean, gray bark that peels artfully in winter. It paints spaces alive. Fall foliage ignites in blazing orange-red, while summer shade turns it into a cool, berry-laden oasis that softens fences or backdrops, feeling wild and untamed yet perfectly polite in gardens. Most fail because they chase sun, but in shade, success hinges on root flare exposure. At planting, excavate a volcano mound 2 feet wide and 18 inches high, exposing the root flare 4 inches above soil line, then backfill with 30% peat moss blended loam to acidify and aerate. University extension trials show this prevents girdling roots that choke many planted Juneberries in moist shade, guaranteeing vigor where others yellow and drop. Thin interior branches every 3rd year to boost airflow. Cut suckers at ground level in spring, forcing energy into fruitwood. For good yields, top dress with 4 inches of pine bark mulch annually, but rake it back 6 inches from the trunk to dodge rot. This mimics prairie edges, retaining shade moisture without sogginess. Plant regent or smoky varieties, zones 2 through 7, self-fertile, 8 feet apart in clusters for cross-pollination benefits. Prune post-harvest, removing canes over 6 years old. Old wood yields, duds. In clay-heavy areas, amend with 20% sand. Water to establish, then drought-tolerant once rooted. Harvest these juicy orbs at peak ripeness. Firmer, less seedy, with complex almond berry zing that's richer than any supermarket pack, bursting with antioxidants. Eat fresh by the handful, no washing needed if bird-netted. Bake into pies where they hold shape without weeping, or jam into syrups that top pancakes like liquid gold, far superior to watery store jams. Dry for leathers that store a year, or ferment into wines with blueberry depth minus tannins. Nutritionally, they're iron-rich for health benefits, with fiber that stabilizes blood sugar better than cultivated berries. Martin variety shines in southern zones, Thiessen for northern reliability. Fall foliage ignites in blazing orange-red, while berries pack antioxidants. Self-fertile varieties like Regent eliminate pollination guesswork. These connect you to thousands of years of North American food wisdom. So, there's your shade garden arsenal. 7 fruit plants that don't just tolerate low light, they prefer it. Pawpaw delivering tropical flavors that stores can't ship. Gooseberries turning thorny corners into productive fortresses. Alpine strawberries perfuming your garden with continuous harvest. Lowbush blueberries surviving what kills their pampered cousins. Acerola cherries bringing vitamin C firepower to southern shade. Hardy kiwis climbing into serious production. And Juneberries connecting you to thousands of years of North American food wisdom. Skip the sun worship, embrace the shadows, and watch these shade kings pay dividends while your neighbors wonder how you're harvesting fruit where nothing should grow. These aren't accidents of nature. They're evolutionary masterpieces that spent millennia perfecting the art of thriving in filtered light. Every gardening myth you've been told about fruit needing blazing sun gets shattered by these 7 champions. They prove that shade doesn't mean settling for less. It means growing different, growing better, growing fruit that laughs at heat stress while sunny gardens wilt. Your shady corner isn't a problem to solve. It's an opportunity to exploit. These plants will turn your dim spaces into productive gold mines that yield all season long, proving once and for all that the best fruit doesn't always need the brightest sun. Drop a comment telling me which one surprised you most. My money's on pawpaw, because once you taste America's forgotten banana, you'll never look at shady corners the same way again.